डेटा स्ट्रीमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म, तो आपके सारे वीडियोस जितने भी रहेंगे वो S3 पे रहेंगे. So once you provision your EKS clusters, generally it works in a way that there is no pod identity set. So if you don't give the pod identity to the pod, वो उस pod को नहीं पता कि मेरे को S3 से जाके वीडियोस लेके आना है. So you have to set that policy. So this also follows the same principle. User it will go to the API, that's a Kubernetes ka API server endpoint. Then the authentication and authorization will happen. It will be integrated with the cluster rule and the role binding, and the bottom part you see, that is where the magic happens. So your cluster role will be bind to the service account, and that service account will be bind to your PIA, that's pod identity agent. If you have provisioned EKS clusters in the past, there's a section in there called add-ons. Add-ons basically enables you to use different kind of plugins that Kubernetes open source community is generally developing. So वहाँ से जाके आप install कर सकते हो, and this get installed as a daemon set on your Kubernetes nodes. So if you have 3 nodes, so PIA will run on 3 specific nodes, and this will take care of the pod entity. Some content. So pods can use AWS SDKs, and you can have them in access S3, or you can have them access RDS or DynamoDB depending on the IAM permissions that they'll be using. What this enables us is your credential management is simplified. Now, most of the times we struggle with distributing our credentials and access keys to a lot of people. We end up giving access to a lot of people, like this is your access key, access via that. This is your access key, access via that. But this avoids distributing the AWS credentials to the containers in a way that it enables you to give the access via service accounts now. So अभी आपका सारा काम हो रहा है cluster role के through. Cluster role आपका attached है आपके main Kubernetes की जो IAM role है वहाँ पे attached है. So उसके through सारा access हो रहा है. Role association with service account, that is what I've just told. Link IAM roles to the Kubernetes service accounts for secure access and seamless pod authentication. That is one of the command which you can use to associate the pod identity. So this generally takes into play that you should pass the cluster name to the pod identity association and the role of the actual the ARN of the role that you are actually passing. So AWS EKS create pod identity association, cluster name, and the pod ARN and the role ARN. The steps are: you have to create an IAM role, you have to deploy the agent, and you have to add the association of that namespace to the service account and the IAM role that you'll be using. Okay. Now there is a older version of EKS pod identity. So this is only available from Kubernetes cluster version from 1.23. Before cluster version Kubernetes cluster 1.23, there is something called IRSA. It's IAM role for service accounts. Okay, this is just one minor change in this diagram and the diagram that we have seen earlier. Earlier Kubernetes EKS, you used to use the OIDC platform. OIDC is OpenID Direct Connect. So whenever you want to give an access to a pod, which will eventually access certain resources inside your AWS, you'll have to create first the role, then the policy, and once your role is set with a specific policy, then you have to attach that role to the OIDC of that specific entity that you have created. So if you open any Kubernetes cluster, it comes with default 2 OIDCs for the high availability part. So if your OIDC is there, it is generally by default configured. तो उस OIDC में जाके आप अपनी entities attach कर दो. Entities meaning your roles के ARN. Once your OIDC is configured, you attach that to a service account, and that is how your pod will know how to access the S3. So secure API access for the applications, that's one of the key advantages of it. Again, this also avoids, it gives you a capability that you don't have to necessarily distribute your AWS credential manually to a lot of people. And then there's a seamless integration between the Kubernetes IAM and the EKS through OIDC platform. Just a quick question so that I know all of you are following up. How does my pod know that it have an access to S3? Like, what will be the process, or just a simple example will work? We'll take this as an example. Like, where is the magic happening? OIDC is just the connector. Service account, it is inside the Kubernetes cluster, so that is not where the magic is happening. Yeah, the magic is happening at the IAM. IAM में आप रोल बना रहे हो, वो रोल को आप एक्सेस दे रहे हो, और वो रोल आप अटैच कर रहे हो अपने पॉड को. So the whole flow is like that. Good answer. So that is mostly it from the security perspective. There are much more deeper topic inside security, but since we have time constraint, I have put it down to the two topics. You implement this if in your organization, and you'll be surprised that most of your issues that you're facing with the authentication and authorization while giving access to the people or to the resources, they'll be resolved. Now comes one of the important part of Kubernetes, and this is one of the most critical part that most people struggle to understand, is the networking. Kubernetes, in general, if you consider EKS, it just takes advantage of what AWS VPC is already providing us. If any one of you have provisioned a VPC before, VPC is virtual private cloud environment, okay? So once you have configured it, you know that it's going to give you 2 private subnet and 2 public subnet depending on how you choose. एक भी दे सकता है. And those public subnets will be attached to a network interface. Cool. So once this networking concept in VPC is understood, understanding VPC CNI is even easier. What is the full form of CNI, if anybody can tell me? C is very basic.
Well,
नहीं. N तो नेटवर्किंग का हो गया, C कंटेनर का हो गया, और I तो इंटरफेस का हो गया. तो कंटेनर नेटवर्किंग इंटरफेस. This is an abstraction that Kubernetes created for ease of access inside the networking. We'll be covering 2 topics. First is the network policies, and another is the security group for pods. Okay. Now, this is how it looks like in general. नेटवर्क पॉलिसीज़. सो अर्लियर जो हमने सिक्योरिटी वाला पार्ट देखा, उसमें हमको एक्सेस देना था लोगों को, या तो क्लस्टर के अंदर से, या लोगों को देना था क्लस्टर के बाहर से. तो वो सिक्योरिटी वाला पार्ट हो गया, IAM का पार्ट. दिस विल हैपन इनसाइड द कुबरनेटिस क्लस्टर. इन एवरी डायग्राम जो भी दिखेगा आपको, वो सब EKS के अंदर चलेगा. पॉड कम्युनिकेशन, सर्विस कम्युनिकेशन, इंटर सर्विस कम्युनिकेशन, हाउ डू यू रेस्ट्रिक्ट दैट, विल सी इनटू इट. सो if you see the diagram, we have discussed earlier that when you provisioned EKS, it gives you one Amazon managed VPC, which we don't have any control over, and you have customer managed VPC, which we can control. That is how the worker nodes know कि मेरे को किससे connect करना है. Now there's a API server endpoint that we discussed at the very starting of the conversation, that it can be private or it can be public. Now, how does the worker node actually knows where to connect and how to connect? So that happens via the Elastic Network Interface. Now, if you just go back to like 30-40 seconds in our conversation, I've told you VPC में आप सबनेट्स बनाते हो, सबनेट से आपके Elastic Network Interfaces बनते हैं. वही Elastic Network Interfaces जहाँ आपके worker nodes provision हुए हैं, will be using those network interfaces only to communicate with the API server endpoint. Okay? Now, what enables that? This is another add-on. हमने पहले एक add-on देखा था, Pod Entity Agent. इसमें VPC का CNI. So this is CNI के through सारे connection चलेगा. CNI will be installed in the worker node. This will be inside your kube-system namespace. So that is how the communication happens. But that is not what network policies are. उस पे हम जाते हैं अभी. This is how it works. Now, generally, when you provision a Kubernetes cluster, any namespace can access any namespace, any pod can access any pod. Now, if you look at the e-commerce application, अगर मेरा UI है, and I have different services like catalog, orders, and then I have database also. I don't want my UI to access the database. Okay, but I want my UI to access the orders and the catalog service so that मेरे customers को दिखता रहे through UI and communication होना चाहिए. In general, the connection is open and we don't want that. So basically network policies, they act as a virtual firewalls. In case of EC2s, when you deploy your application, security groups are your firewalls. अब वहाँ पे जाके अपना पोर्ट इनबाउंड आउटबाउंड का डालते हो और उसी के थ्रू आपका चलता है. In Kubernetes, it happens by network policies. Network policies are linked to namespaces, and उन namespaces के बीच में there is a communication that happens via service. So I'll explain that. That is what the overview is. Now, very important part of a network is, how many of you know ingress and egress?
Now,
Yeah, it's very simple. Egress is what your outgoing, ingress is your incoming. So to establish a successful communication between two pods, you need to define their ingress and egress policies in the network policy itself. So it enables a traffic control between the pods also. Now there is a granular segmentation because most of us don't have a habit of labeling of the things we create. Like हम AWS में भी रिसोर्स जब क्रिएट करते हैं हम उसका टैग्स के बिना ही छोड़ देते हैं. हम लोग जब डिप्लॉयमेंट से बनाते हैं, we leave them without any kind of pod labels or namespaces. But while implementing the network policies inside Kubernetes, you need to have labels in place. And that gives you a granular segmentation between how you generally do it and how you should do it.
yeah, fine.
Obviously, it improves the cluster security, and within your Kubernetes environment, it helps you segment workloads also. Okay, so this is one of the use cases that I have written. अभी जो example बताया था UI वाला. So UI, let's have this and let's have this. Okay. Just so I know that you understand what I'm saying, just give the above block a simple read. Now, can anybody tell me what the first section is doing? Yeah, by default it's denying all the egress traffic कि मेरे क्लस्टर से या मेरे नेम्स से कुछ बाहर जा ही नहीं सकता है. ठीक है, that's one. और सेकंड वाला क्या कर रहा है? सेकंड वाला उसी चीज़ को थोड़ा इम्प्रूव कर रहा है. कह रहा है कि बाहर नहीं जा सकता क्लस्टर के, ठीक है, पर क्लस्टर के अंदर तो रहे. सो नीचे वाला जो है, इट इज़ अलाउिंग द egress communication inside the system namespaces, and the communication via core DNS is happening with the help of the network policy that you have set. Okay, very simple. अभी UI को अंदर एक्सेस है, egress का हमने उसका एक्सेस लिमिट कर दिया है. Now let's see the ingress controls. Same use case, same thing, but a different example. Okay, let's give the first statement a read. And let's give the second statement a read. What my first example is doing? Anyone?
The back double clear play. Currently wait on.
Yes. The second one? Yeah, so what is happening is we want UI to communicate with the catalog service, not the catalog database. Because if inside my Kubernetes cluster, मेरा UI अगर मेरे database को access कर पा रहा है, तो it's a dicey situation altogether. In any kind of Kubernetes environment, if you segment your namespaces in a way where you have defined proper network policies, जब आपका cluster compromise होगा, और होता है, अगर आप public रहोगे तो it will be compromised eventually. आज नहीं होएगा, एक साल के बाद होएगा. So this thing helps you with a lot of things, and it is very critical. The second one is just restricting the access to the catalog database. That's all it is doing. And how is it doing it? We have two sections, pod selector, and we have the inside the, so there are two policies as we discussed, ingress and egress. So we need to set a policy inside a network policy for to work. So you set the ingress, you put the pod selector कि मेरे को कहाँ से incoming accept नहीं करना है, and I just disallow it. So it is simple, but we don't generally see people doing these kind of things in their Kubernetes environment. वी टेक दिस थिंग फॉर ग्रांटेड जब तक हमारा पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं होता है. मेरा हो चुका है एक बार. सो जस्ट कर लिया करो. अनदर थिंग इज दिस समथिंग कॉल्ड सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप फॉर पॉड्स. नेटवर्क पॉलिसीज क्लियर है, गुड एनफ, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स गो फॉर सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप फॉर पॉड्स. व्हाट डज द नेम टेल यू? सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स तो जनरली हम लोग आई थिंक EC2 को असाइन करते हैं ना, बट ये तो बोल रहा है सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप फॉर पॉड्स. सो इट टेल्स you that you can utilize the security groups that you have created earlier while you are creating the Kubernetes cluster. You can still utilize the Kubernetes clusters के security groups inside your pods. How? We'll see. Now, if I want to give my EC2 an access to an RDS, what are the ways in generally that we do it? Anyone? हम लोग EC2 पे रोल लगाते हैं, उस रोल को पॉलिसी देते हैं. नाउ व्हेन यू क्रिएट अ कुबरनेटिस क्लस्टर, आप लोगों के वर्कर नोड्स को कुछ डिफ़ॉल्ट सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स लग के आते हैं, कुछ डिफ़ॉल्ट TNIs लग के आते हैं, कुछ डिफ़ॉल्ट रोल्स लग के आते हैं. सो इफ़ हम लोग डिफ़ॉल्ट यूज़ करने लगे, सो इवेंचुअली आपका सारा क्लस्टर का जो पूरा कम्युनिकेशन है विल बी हैपनिंग थ्रू वन सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप, वन सिंगल ENI और one single thing. So having single point of failure is always bad. Let it be on your EC2 or let it be on your Kubernetes environment. So we need to avoid that. This helps us set the pod level rules. To enable it inside the Kubernetes cluster, we have to, there's an option called enabled pod ENI. We have to set it true. By default false होता है. अगर उसको true set नहीं करोगे नहीं चलेगा, ये कनेक्शन होएगा ही नहीं. Okay. दिस इज़ जैसे सैम्पल डायग्राम कि अलग अलग पॉड्स का नेटवर्किंग आप अलग अलग सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स के साथ में सेगमेंट कर सकते हो. नेटवर्क बनाने के लिए हमने नेटवर्क पॉलिसीज़ बनाई थी. नाउ टू गिव एक्सेस टू द सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप हम लोग को दिस थिंग कॉल्ड SGP, जिसको सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप पॉलिसी बोलते हैं. नेटवर्क बनाने के लिए नेटवर्क पॉलिसी, सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप को एक्सेस देने के लिए सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप पॉलिसी. सिंपल, ठीक है. अभी there's a use case where my catalog application अभी in your Kubernetes clusters when you have in general अभी आप लोगों ने database एक डाल दिया which is running as a pod or a stateful set whatever, and you have an application that connects to it. But now we want to change it in a way that we have to switch the application connection to the RDS. I don't want to use the pod that is database वाला, वो मुझे use नहीं करना. Now how do I do that? Initially, if I just go and change the endpoint inside my config map, it will fail to connect. Because अगर आप default वाला security group use कर रहे हो और उसमें 3306 inbound allowed है. So let's take an example, okay? You have a security group, inbound rule उस पर 3306 enabled है और वो आपके database पे लगा हुआ है. Now you want to access that from the pod. यहाँ पे मैंने चेंज कर दिया और वो चल गया, बट इट इज़ फेलिंग. एनी गेसेस वाई? हमने बहुत स्टार्टिंग में एक चीज़ करी थी, इफ़ यू गाइस रिमेंबर, हमने सारा आउटगोइंग बंद किया था. हाँ, सो दिस फॉर दिस स्पेसिफिक थिंग वी हैव टू एनेबल एन egress कि मेरे कैटलॉग का जो एप्लीकेशन है वो कनेक्ट कर पाए मेरे RDS से थ्रू egress पॉलिसी. दैट हैपन्स वाया सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप पॉलिसी. तो that's how the communication work. You have to pass in the catalog STID and apply this whole thing at once and it will run. Any questions यहाँ तक? इसके बाद का सिंपल है.
When we all the
Okay, so security groups acts as a virtual firewall to your EC2 instances or to your Kubernetes cluster के pods. And IAM role is something which you use to give access to the people or to the service accounts. Your role will have policies. Suppose if I want कि आपको सिर्फ S3, EC2 और RDS का access है, वो भी read only. So I'll create a role, attach those policies, and I'll share the credentials with you. Cool. But security group works in a way where virtualized environment is coming into picture. आपकी EC2 is involved है, आपका Kubernetes involved है, या आपके अलग है. So that's the major difference. Okay. Now observability. What do you guys understand from when I say observability? Cluster को observe करना है, कोई भी system को observe करना है. That means we have to look into it. There are two parts that we'll be covering. First is logging inside the EKS. That is the most critical part, and that's most where I used to struggle also, and there most of the people do. And there's something called Container Insights. It helps you set the alerts directly on the CloudWatch once you have your workloads running on EKS. So, okay. There are different type of logs. If you want to enable the logs, specific logs for the Kubernetes cluster, which is deployed on the EKS, you can go and hit enable on the authentication screen. आप पे जाओ settings के अंदर कंट्रोलर मैनेजर लॉग्स एनेबल है, स्केड्यूलर ऑडिट है, एपीआई सर्वर ऑथेंटिकेटर है, ये सब जाएंगे क्लाउड वॉच पे. ओके, यू विल हैव अ लॉग ग्रुप कॉन्फ़िगर्ड. उस लॉग ग्रुप को आप कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में डाल दो और सारे लॉग्स आपके चैलेंज. सो दिस टेक्स केयर ऑफ योर कंट्रोल प्लेन लॉगिंग. वी डोंट हैव एक्सेस टू इट, बट एटलीस्ट वी कैन सी लॉग्स. That is the kind of abstraction that any kind of managed service EKS cluster or Kubernetes cluster enables us to. Now there comes pod logging. Okay. Now pod logging has 3 levels. एक basic होता है, node होता है, cluster होता है. Cluster वाला तो हमने देख लिया, बाहर का था. Node और basic वाला we'll see. Now how generally कैसे access करते हो आप अपने application के logs, kubectl logs -f and pod का नाम डालते हो, so आपके logs आ जाते हैं. Okay, but did any one of you ever went inside your node group? एक EC2 instance के अंदर आपने जाके देखा है कि आपके logs कहाँ बनते हैं? Anyone? क्योंकि ये logs कहीं तो जा रहे होंगे ना. अगर कंटेनर के अंदर चल रहा है तो या तो CloudWatch पे जाएंगे, जो बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट नहीं होता है, या तो आपके EC2 पे जाएंगे, आपके वर्कर नोड्स पे जाएंगे. बट इफ़ यू डोंट हैव प्रॉपर लॉगिंग इन प्लेस, एक टाइम के बाद में आपका जो EC2 है, वर्कर नोड है, वो भर जाएगा and it will crash. So setting up the proper observability and setting up the agents which enables you to scrape the logs and send the logs to the CloudWatch, it increases the lifetime of your environment, you can say. Application का तो जाने दो, ठीक है. So वही बताया, generally it is stored at where logs pods in any of the nodes. If you go and you go type cd/var logs pods, वहाँ पे आपको सारे logs मिल जाएंगे. But that is not it. Now we just know कि हमको कहाँ पे pods मिल गए, logs मिल गए. But what I want is मेरे को ये भेजना भी है, ठीक है. तो दूसरा टॉपिक था. Now how many of you heard about FluentD? किसी ने सुना है? What is it?
Not when back to here that posting with the
Yeah, so it's a log collector. Up FluentD, generally when you install it on the EC2, it installs in a way where आपको एक sample configuration देना पड़ता है कि आपका logs कहाँ पर है. Okay, but in terms of Kubernetes, it gets installed as daemon sets. Now that's a new term. Anybody can tell me what a daemon set is? There are few types of deployments. Okay, एक deployment होता है, एक stateful sets होता है, एक daemons होता है, एक daemon sets होता है. So daemon sets basically they are the kind of deployment. अगर आपने daemon set चला दिया तो node के against, अगर आपके 5 node है तो 5 node के against एक pod चलेगा. That is what daemon set means. तो अगर FluentD 5 node के against चलेगा तो वो 5 node के जितने pods होंगे वो सारे के सारे CloudWatch पे भेजेगा. And you also need something to see. आपको dashboard चाहिए, and that is where CloudWatch agent comes into play. So a combination of FluentD and CloudWatch agent inside your kube EKS cluster basically resolves all your logging issues. This is straightforward. This comes in a way where you now, how many of you struggle with the management where they want a dashboard of everything? Few of us might have. Observability का important part है कि उस system के insights मुझे मिल जाने चाहिए. Container Insights helps you do that. Once you have installed it on the Kubernetes cluster, it helps you forward all the data and you can create necessary dashboards from it. Now there's something called autoscaling. I'm just taking horizontal pod autoscaler as an example. Can anybody tell me the difference between horizontal and vertical in general? Two types of autoscalings. Anyone? Difference between horizontal pod scaler and vertical pod scaler. Correct, yes. So by horizontal, it means you'll be adding more replicas to your deployment. And by vertical, you means you need that the vertical pod autoscaler make sure कि आपके pod के पास में enough CPU या memory है क्या application चलाने के लिए. So for autoscaling, we'll take one example. Horizontal pod का ही है. HPA scales. Now how HPA works is it takes all the data from the metric server. Okay. Without metric server, HPA won't work. And metric server by default डल के नहीं आता, आपको डालना पड़ता है. मेट्रिक सर्वर इंस्टॉल करो, अपना HPA कॉन्फ़िगर करो, अगेंस्ट डिप्लॉयमेंट आपको कितने रेप्लिका चाहिए, कितने CPU मेमोरी पे आपको स्पाइक पे कितने रेप्लिकास बढ़ाने हैं, यू कॉन्फ़िगर दैट एंड इट विल वर्क. सो लेट्स सी द सैम्पल. above one is the deployment file. It's a very simple deployment file, but नीचे का important. Minimum replicas, maximum replicas, minimum is 1, maximum is 4, and it is a HPA that is getting deployed in the namespace UI. तो UI के अंदर जितने pods होंगे उनके ऊपर ये HPA लग जाएगा. So that makes HPA a namespace kind of resource. आपके cluster पे namespace specific है. This is generally the command that is helpful to test the load. उसी का screenshot है. Now this is the last section. There's something called GitOps. Okay, GitOps comes into play where you don't want your CI/CD to do everything for you. आपको so if you have a Git repo in place and you want your cluster to be in the state that your Git repo is, so many of us follow a master and release strategy. Release पे आपका जब भी कुछ push जाता है या dev पे जाता है, it goes to the test, and जब main पे merge होता है, it goes to the production. Currently the way we do it is generally CI pipeline होती है which pushes to the registry, और वो pipeline के image से उठा के सीधा फिर CD के through deployment करता है. Flux enables you to automate that whole process कि जब भी आपके main में कुछ push हो जाएगा, it will go see कुछ push हुआ है, reconcile the state of the cluster और automatic deployment कर देगा. In simple way GitOps. Deployment भी बहुत simple है. Flux also runs as a daemon set, तो वो हर pod के against चलेगा, हर node के against चलेगा, so that it knows कि कौन से node पे मुझे कब क्या deployment करनी है. That is what I've written also. Any questions? So I'll भूल गए होगे तुम लोग, काफ़ी सारा है ना, थोड़ा पीछे चलते हैं. एक कुछ स्पेसिफिक याद है? Any questions? We have covered security, networking, observability, auto-scaling, and yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Easy tools.
Yeah. English gets right to I have a lot of people. Right here. Oh, you're welcome. I find this video.
Have you heard of something called ELK stack? Yeah, but it is a little bit expensive. If you want a cheaper solution, you can just go for Prometheus and Grafana.
What that?
Yeah. है ना?
Bad dogs cut along that. But directly on the listing again. What I lost, and I need them still back.
उस बात पे आएंगे, लेकिन वो स्ट्रीम हो जाएंगे वहाँ पे,
Or the song.
स्टोर होंगे, लेकिन उसके साथ में उसके पीछे एक रिमूवल पॉलिसी भी होती है विच कम्स एज अ पार्ट ऑफ क्लस्टर क्लीनिंग. सो व्हेन यू डिप्लॉय इट, उसका डीमन सेट जो होता है, डीमन सेट में होता है कि मेरे को हर एक दिन में इतने इतने बजे ये इंटरवल पे उसको निकालना भी है. सो स्ट्रीमिंग हैपन्स और क्लीनअप भी चलते रहता है साइड बाय साइड. वो ऑटोमेटिक फ्लुएंट ही करता है बाय डिफॉल्ट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में. फ्लुएंट, यस. सो इफ़ यू लाइक इट, प्लीज़ 2 मिनट फ़ोन निकाल लो, अपने स्कैन कर दो,